Okay, so what is your name and how did you become an organ donor recipient?
My name is Zachary Hurst, and I became an organ donor recipient because I had a liver disease called primary sclerosing cholangitis, or PSC for short. It's a biliary tract disease that slowly inflames the bile ducts in the liver and causes them to scar, and it makes it more difficult for the bile fluid to move through the ducts, which causes problems. And really the only way to fix the problem is by liver transplant.
Okay. So what was the process like?
A year ago or two, they told me that I needed to be placed on the transplant list because I was declining, and at that point they had done some procedures to the point where it wasn't helping the condition get any better, so they decided that I would need to register for to be on the list, but at the same time they wanted for me to explore the option of live donation, as they didn't think that I would be placed high enough up on the list to actually receive an organ in a timely manner so that I could get back to the quality of life that I had before I started declining.
What kind of concerns did you have?
The biggest concern for me was when they told me that I could do live donation. It was that what if nobody's a match? I know a lot of people wait on the transplant list for a very long time, and if it was the case that I couldn't find a live donor, I could be sitting in decline for a very long time and always just wondering when and if I was ever going to get a call saying that there was an organ ready for me.
How did it affect you and others, such as your family?
I think everybody was really scared, and I think everybody, when we were going through the process of especially live donation, everybody was anxious to know. Once somebody got tested to see if they were a match, we were all waiting on the results, and every day was a constant checking in to see is any good news, is anybody a match. At first, my father tried to be a match, and he wasn't a match, so then there grew some more concern as the list of people grew smaller. There were a lot of people that were willing to step up and be a live donor, but they said that family matches are usually the easiest and they're the most common. So when he was ruled out, it became everybody got really nervous because they were concerned that maybe the live donation wouldn't work in my case and I would have to be put on the list. So I think everybody was really just nervous that there might not be a match for me, and that they might just have to sit and watch as I decline and hope that eventually I would get a call.
What made you feel reassured during the process?
Well, really, the reassurance was that so many people were willing to step up and try to be a live donor. A lot of my family members said as soon as we announced that I would be looking for a live donor, they immediately were saying that they would be next in line if somebody fell out. And I had friends that were also willing. I had parents of friends that were willing. I had a really good support system, and everybody was willing to step up, and everybody was willing to become a live donor in order to save my life.
How did you feel after receiving your organ?
I feel back to normal now after receiving the organ. I feel like my quality of life has been restored to the point back before I was even diagnosed. Before I was diagnosed, I was feeling no symptoms, even though they said that PSC is usually present in people for many years before they even show signs. So for me, I felt like I had gotten back to that quality of life where I had no restrictions, I wasn't tired anymore, I wasn't feeling symptoms, and I just felt like I would never have to really worry about when's the next doctor's visit, when am I going to need another procedure if something goes wrong. All of that went away, and I was just reassured that life was back to normal.
Okay. Why do you encourage other people to sign up and become an organ donor? Like, what would you say to those who are unsure about signing up?
To those who are unsure of signing up, what I would say is that organ donation really holds my family together. Without it, everything would be a lot more difficult. People, when they would come over, like my family members, it would always be a constant, how are you feeling today? Are you feeling worse than yesterday? Whereas now it's, I'm great that you're feeling better, and it's no more talk about health. It's just, I'm very glad that you're healthy and that you have a normal life back. And what else I would tell people is that you can't take your organs with you when you die. Your organs can save up to 8 lives. So please help the people that are still here today.
Others you know signed up to be a donor because of your situation?
Yes, actually, I've had a lot of friends who have registered to become an organ donor since my transplant. I've had a lot of people ask how they can register to be an organ donor, and I've had a lot of people, a lot of friends and a lot of family who are completely willing to donate life, go on. For example, I did a walk, I participated in a walk, and a lot of my friends were willing, along with some family members who couldn't make it but still donated to the cause. A lot of people are just really willing to donate and to become organ donors because they've seen the power and they've seen how it's affected me, and they want to extend that to everybody.
Because you are still gratefully here today, what have you been able to enjoy that you could have missed?
Life. I mean, before, my quality of life was deteriorating and I felt like I was glued to the couch, and now I feel like I'm back to where I was, where I could play sports and I could go outside and I can enjoy time with family and I can enjoy time with friends, and not worry about, okay, well, who's going to come see me in the hospital when, or I'm stuck on the couch, is there any chance you could come over here? There's no restrictions anymore, and I feel like I can really get back to living my life.
How long did it take for you to get your transplant?
For me, it took about 3 months. So they put me on the transplant list in January, and my uncle was found to be a match, and I had my transplant in March of the same year. But we knew for a long time that transplant was going to be the end result. As soon as I was diagnosed, they told me that transplant in the future would be the end result. For me, though, it only took a short amount of time, but for many others, people wait on the transplant list for years, and some people never receive an organ. So once again, I really encourage everybody to donate life. You could save someone's life.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.